Breaking news, Viking Nation, the storm is here, and it's about to shake everything you thought you knew about this season. A defensive warrior who's been missing since week 1 is finally opening the door to his return. A star pass rusher is dropping names, revealing which teammates have been stepping up when it mattered most. The quarterback controversy nobody wants to talk about is exploding right before our eyes, and the coaching staff just threw gasoline on that fire. A full report card on the first quarter of this season has been released, and the grades might surprise you. And two legends walk through the doors of the Vikings facility with a message that cuts deeper than any playbook. 5 stories, 5 shocks, 5 reasons why the next 7 days could redefine the future of this franchise. If you bleed purple and gold, if you live and breathe Viking football, if you believe this team has what it takes to go all the way, then you need to hear every single word of what's coming. And if you hate the Packers more than you love sleep, smash that subscribe button right now, because this is going to get wild. The first revelation is about to detonate inside US Bank Stadium, and trust me, you're not ready for what just surfaced from the injury report. There's a name that's been missing from the field since the very first game of this season. A name that echoes through the halls of the Vikings defensive meetings. A name that linebackers coach Mike Ceravo has been whispering about for weeks now. The silence around this absence has been deafening, but on October 13th, everything changed. The Minnesota Vikings officially opened the 21-day practice window for linebacker Blake Cashman, bringing the hometown hero one giant step closer to reclaiming his spot in the heart of Brian Flores' chaotic, suffocating defense. Cashman went down in week 1 with a hamstring injury that looked ugly from the jump, the kind of pull that makes trainers wince and coaches start making contingency plans. The team wasted no time moving him to injured reserve, guaranteeing at least a 4-week absence. But now, after grinding through rehab, after watching his teammates battle without him, Cashman is back at practice, and the energy around this return is electric. This isn't just any linebacker coming back from injury. This is a guy who grew up in Eden Prairie, Minnesota, who bled purple and gold long before he ever wore it professionally, who set career highs last season with 112 tackles and 4.5 sacks in his first year. With his hometown squad, Cashman operated as a full-time starter in 2024, anchoring the second level of the defense with the kind of instinctive play recognition that makes offensive coordinators pull their hair out. He's the type of player who doesn't just fill gaps, he anticipates them, attacks them, and destroys running backs before they even know what hit them. The Vikings defense currently ranks 5th in the NFL in points allowed, a testament to the brilliance of defensive coordinator Brian Flores. But bringing Cashman back into the fold could be the missing piece that elevates this unit from great to unstoppable. The 29-year-old former 5th-round pick is under contract through 2026, but here's the kicker. None of his $6.9 million base salary for next season is guaranteed. That means every snap he takes from here on out is an audition, every tackle is a statement. Every game he stays healthy is another brick in the foundation of his future with this organization. Minnesota has already burned through some of their IR activations this season, bringing back fullback C.J. Ham and using a designated return spot on pass rusher Tyler Batty during roster cutdowns, which means they'll be down to just 5 activations once Cashman officially rejoins the active roster. The clock is ticking on that 21-day window, and you can bet Kevin O'Connell and his staff are monitoring every single practice rep, every movement, every sign that Cashman is ready to handle a full workload when the Vikings take the field in week 7. Will he be back in time for the showdown against the Philadelphia Eagles? Can he reclaim his starting spot immediately? Or will the emergence of veterans like Eric Wilson complicate the linebacker rotation? Does his return mean Ivan Pace Jr. slides back into a reduced role? Or will Flores find a way to deploy all 3 in his ever-evolving defensive schemes? And here's the real question Viking Nation needs to ask. If Cashman comes back and dominates the rest of this season, if he proves he's fully healthy and still that same tackling machine from 2024, does Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah guarantee some of that 2026 salary to lock him in long term? Because right now, this defense is humming, and adding Cashman back into the mix could be the difference between a playoff run and a deep January push. If you believe in this defense more than you believe the Packers can stop choking in big moments, drop a comment right now and let me know. Is Cashman the key to unlocking a Super Bowl defense? But hold on, as shocking as that return is, the next update cuts even deeper, because one of the most dominant players on this roster just opened his mouth and dropped 2 names. that are turning heads across the league. When Jonathan Greenard speaks, people listen. The 27-year-old edge rusher, who signed a 4-year, $76 million deal with the Vikings in the 2024 offseason, has been everything this franchise hoped for, and more. A relentless force off the edge, a leader in the locker room, and a player who elevates everyone around him. So when Greenard sat down with Kay Adams a few days ago and started talking about which teammates have been stepping up this season, Viking Nation leaned in close, because what he said next was pure gold. First name out of his mouth, quarterback Carson Wentz ***. Greenard praised Wentz for his success as the starter, helping the Vikings reach a 3-2 record through the first 5 games. Despite the chaos surrounding the quarterback position, Wentz has gone to 1 in his 3 starts, bringing a veteran presence, a quick release, and a level of decision-making that has kept this offense functional, even when injuries to the offensive line and skill positions threaten to derail everything. But the second name Greenard dropped might have been even more surprising. Veteran linebacker Eric Wilson ***. And this is where things get fascinating, because Wilson wasn't supposed to be a major part of this defense coming into the season. He was brought in on a modest 2-year deal worth just $0.6 million as a depth piece, a veteran presence who could step in if needed. But when Blake Cashman went down in Week 1, Wilson was thrust into a starting role, and he hasn't just filled in. He's been making game-changing plays. Greenard specifically mentioned Wilson's impact in the wins over Cincinnati and Atlanta, games where the linebacker came up with clutch tackles, forced fumbles, and the kind of heady plays that veteran defenders make when the moment demands it. Wilson is 31 years old now, and he's been around the block. He knows how to read offenses, how to communicate Brian Flores' complex schemes, and how to put himself in position to make plays. The stats back it up too. Through 5 games, Wilson has racked up 35 tackles, to tackles for loss and to forced fumbles. The kind of splash plays that show up on highlight reels and swing momentum in tight games. But here's the catch. He's also missed 7 tackles, which is a concerningly high number and suggests that while he's making plays, there's some inconsistency in his fundamentals. Still, the fact that Jonathan Greenard is publicly praising Wilson speaks volumes about the respect he's earned in that locker room and the impact he's had on a defense that ranks among the best in the NFL. Now here's where the intrigue really kicks in. What happens when Blake Cashman comes back? Does Wilson keep his starting job because of his chemistry with Flores and his ability to communicate the defensive calls? Does Ivan Pace Jr., who struggled early in the season with missed tackles and gap discipline issues, find himself on the outside looking in? Or does Flores get creative and find ways to deploy all 3 linebackers in different packages, maximizing the versatility and depth at the position? And let's not forget about Greenard himself. The man has only 1 sack through 5 games, which might seem underwhelming for a player making $19 million per year. But anyone who watches the film knows that sacks are just one piece of the puzzle. Greenard is winning his one-on-ones, collapsing pockets, setting edges in the run game, and occasionally dropping into coverage where he's shown surprising effectiveness. He's the kind of player who makes everyone else's job easier. And when you combine that with a defense that ranks 2nd in the NFL in EPA per play against dropbacks, it's clear that Greenard's impact goes far beyond the stat sheet. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah might even consider building a contract extension for Greenard during the offseason to create short-term cap space while locking him in for the long haul. Because finding edge rushers who can do what Greenard does is nearly impossible in today's NFL. Do you think Greenard is worth every penny of that $76 million deal? Do you believe Eric Wilson should keep starting even when Cashman returns? And do you think Carson Wentz has done enough to hold on to the starting quarterback job? Or is the controversy about to explode? If you're riding with the Vikings defense and you believe this unit can carry the team all the way to February, hit that like button right now and show the world what Viking Nation is made of. And just when fans thought the quarterback situation was settled, here comes the next bombshell that's dividing the fan base right down the middle. This is the story that has every Vikings fan on edge. The controversy that's dominating sports talk radio across Minnesota. The question that's being debated in every bar, every tailgate, every group chat. What the hell is going on with **JJ McCarthy ***? Kevin O'Connell has repeatedly talked about McCarthy's lower body mechanics as something the second-year quarterback needs to improve after recovering from the ankle sprain he suffered in Week 2 on Monday. O'Connell mentioned it again, but he refused to confirm whether McCarthy would start when the Vikings host the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 7. Let that sink in for a second. The coaching staff is publicly questioning the mechanics of their franchise quarterback, the guy they traded up to draft, the player who was supposed to be the future of this organization. And they won't even commit to him as the starter against a Fortitude Eagles team that's coming off an upset loss and looking to prove they're still contenders. O'Connell said the team needs to focus on trying to win the game on Sunday, which sounds reasonable until you realize what he's really saying. He's not sure J.J. McCarthy gives them the best chance to win. The numbers tell a brutal story. According to ESPN stats, McCarthy would rank dead last in the NFL in adjusted QBR at 22. 5 if he had enough pass attempts to qualify. Through 2 games, he completed just 24 of 41 passes for 301 yards to touchdowns and 3 interceptions, a completion percentage of 58, 5% that screams inconsistency and indecision. The only bright spot was a single quarter against the Chicago Bears in Week 1, where McCarthy looked like the confident, poised playmaker the Vikings thought they were getting. But that magic disappeared quickly, and the results have been ugly ever since. Meanwhile, Carson Wentz has stepped in and gone to one as the starter, bringing stability, experience, and a calm presence that has allowed the offense to function despite a rash of injuries that have decimated the offensive line. Wentz even suffered a shoulder injury to his non-throwing arm before the Vikings' Week 6 bye, but O'Connell indicated he could be ready to go against Philadelphia if Minnesota decides to roll with the veteran once again. And here's the real kicker. If Wentz starts against the Eagles and beats his former team in front of a national audience, if he leads the Vikings to a statement win over a playoff contender, how do you justify benching him? How do you go back to a struggling young quarterback who hasn't shown he can handle the moment? The Vikings are currently 1.5-point underdogs at home against Philadelphia, and the pressure is mounting on O'Connell to make the right call. This decision isn't just about Week 7, it's about the trajectory of the entire season. If McCarthy sits again, does it damage his confidence? Does it signal that the coaching staff has lost faith in him? Or is this a smart, calculated move to let him develop at a slower pace, to fix those lower body mechanics without the pressure of live game situations, where every mistake gets magnified? O'Connell has said they want to maximize JJ's development each day, prepare all their players to be ready, and make the best decision for the team and for each individual. But that's coach speak, for we haven't decided yet. We're keeping our options open. The fan base is split. Some believe McCarthy needs to play through his struggles, that the only way he'll learn is by taking his lumps in real games against real competition. Others think sitting him is the right move, that rushing him back before he's truly ready could ruin his confidence and stunt his long-term growth. And then there's a third group who's starting to wonder if McCarthy is even the answer at all. If maybe the Vikings made a mistake trading up for him. If perhaps this franchise is destined to wander the quarterback desert for another decade. What do you think, Viking Nation? Should J.J. McCarthy start against the Eagles and prove he can bounce back? Should Carson Wentz keep the job as long as he's winning? Or should the Vikings explore every possible option, including trades, to find a true franchise quarterback? If you've got an opinion, and I know you do, drop it in the comments right now, because this debate is just getting started. But that's not the only fire burning inside this franchise. The next revelation is a full report card on the first quarter of the season, and some of these grades are going to shock you. 6 games into the NFL season means the first quarter of the year is officially in the books, and it's time to hand out grades for the Minnesota Vikings. This has been a chaotic, injury-riddled roller coaster start to 2025, and the report card reflects both the brilliance and the struggles that have defined this team through 5 games. Let's start with the offense, because that's where most of the drama has unfolded. The offensive MVP through the first quarter is left tackle *** Christian Darrisaw ***, and it's not even close. When Darrisaw returned from his own injury, the offensive line immediately improved. In the first 2 games without him, J.J. McCarthy was sacked 19 times, including a sack percentage of 20.2% against the Atlanta Falcons, an absolutely unacceptable number that exposed just how vulnerable this line was. But once Darrisaw came back, the protection tightened up, the run game found some traction, and suddenly the offense could breathe again. The glue guy on offense is wide receiver *** Justin Jefferson ***, because of course it is. Jefferson has been the one constant in an offense that's been searching for an identity. Through the first 3 weeks, he only caught 12 passes for 200 yards and a touchdown, but in the last 2 games, he's exploded for 17 catches and 249 yards, becoming the safety blanket that Carson Wentz desperately needed. The biggest surprise on offense has been offensive lineman Blake Brandel who stepped in at center and played well enough to raise legitimate questions about who should start. Once injured center Ryan Kelly returns from IR, Brandel attacked defenders with aggression, absorbed their power, and held his own in a role he wasn't expected to fill. The biggest disappointment, quarterback J.J. McCarthy obviously, the expectations were sky high, the hype was real, and the results have been devastating. Pair that with the ankle injury, and it's been a nightmare start for the second-year signal caller. The turning point for this offense was the loss to the Atlanta Falcons, where Kevin O'Connell failed to make adjustments early enough to help a struggling offensive line. Since then, O'Connell has made tweaks, simplified concepts, and put his players in better positions to succeed. But the offense still doesn't have a clear identity. Overall grade for the offense, B-. Now let's flip to the defense, where things have been far more encouraging. The defensive MVP is edge rusher Jonathan Greenard who's been impacting games as a pass rusher, a run defender, and even occasionally in coverage. He's the heartbeat of this defensive line, the player who makes everyone else's job easier. The glue guy is cornerback Byron Murphy Jr. Who's been consistent, reliable in coverage, allowing just 12 receptions for 126 yards and 2 touchdowns through 5 games. He's not flashy, but he's steady, and in Brian Flores' aggressive defense, steady is valuable. The biggest surprise on defense has been defensive tackle Glenn Redmond who's come out of nowhere to rack up 3 sacks and 10 pressures in just 79 pass rush snaps. Redmond has been a force in the interior, pushing offensive linemen backward and creating havoc in the backfield. He's one of the best finds Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah has made in his tenure as general manager. The biggest disappointment is linebacker Ivan Pace Jr. Who's struggled with missed tackles and gap discipline issues. Some of that might be due to the absence of Blake Cashman, who helps cover for Pace's mistakes. But the errors have been glaring. The turning point for this defense was Isaiah Rodgers' 99 Pro Football Focus grade against an opponent earlier this season, a performance that included 2 defensive touchdowns and 3 turnovers. It solidified the coaching staff's confidence in him as a starting cornerback. Overall grade for the defense, B***. Special teams and coaching also get B***, with Kevin O'Connell making necessary adjustments after a rough start, and Brian Flores continuing to dominate opposing passing attacks, even as the run defense remains vulnerable. The 2025 rookie class gets C+, with 5th-round pick Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins earning the standout label for his contributions in the defensive tackle rotation, while 3rd-round receiver Ty Felton has barely seen the field and lands in the bust category for now. So what does all this mean for the rest of the season? Can this team fix the quarterback controversy and establish an offensive identity? Can the defense continue to dominate passing attacks while shoring up the run defense? And can the Vikings turn a 3-2 start into a legitimate playoff push? If you think this team is about to go on a run and prove all the doubters wrong, smash that subscribe button and let the world know Viking Nation never quits, and neither do these players. And listen closely, because what comes next might be the most important story of all, and it has nothing to do with X's and O's. On Monday, October 14th, 2 men walked through the doors of the Vikings facility carrying a message that transcends football, a message that cuts deeper than any playbook, any scheme, any game plan. Former Vikings offensive tackle Brian McKinney and his longtime friend, and former Baltimore Ravens teammate Ray Rice came to Minnesota to talk about something that doesn't show up on stat sheets, but affects every single player who's ever suited up in the NFL: mental health. This wasn't a typical motivational speech. This wasn't some corporate consultant coming in to talk about leadership and teamwork. This was raw. This was real. This was 2 men who lived through the highest highs and the lowest lows of professional football, who've dealt with success and failure, public scrutiny and private pain, and who've come out the other side with hard-earned wisdom about what really matters. McKinney and Rice, who won a Super Bowl together with the Ravens in the 2012-13 season, are now on a mission to raise awareness about mental health in the NFL. They talk to the Vikings about life during and after football, about dealing with success and the crushing weight of pressure, about the true meaning of brotherhood, about overcoming dark times when the world feels like it's collapsing around you, and about the brutal transition out of the league when your identity as a player evaporates overnight. McKinney posted about the visit on social media, saying quick trip to Minnesota with Ray Rice to chop it up with the Vikings. Got real. They discussed the reality that mental health is non-negotiable, that asking for help isn't weakness, it's a superpower. McKinney thanked the Vikings organization for welcoming them and for their ongoing commitment to player well-being, calling it a pivotal day. And here's why this matters so much right now, at this moment in the season, because the Vikings are dealing with their own internal struggles. Jay McCarthy is facing questions about his confidence and his future. Carson Wentz is trying to prove he's still got something left in the tank. Blake Cashman is grinding through rehab, fighting to get back on the field and secure his future with this team. Coaches are making life-altering decisions about who plays and who sits. Front office executives are weighing trades and roster moves that could define careers. And every single player in that locker room is dealing with pressure, doubt, fear, and the constant anxiety that comes with playing a violent sport where one injury, one mistake, one bad game could end everything. McKinney and Rice know what that's like. McKinney was involved in the infamous Vikings love boat scandal back in 2005. He was arrested in 2008 after an alleged altercation outside a Miami nightclub. His career had its share of off-field issues, moments where the pressure and the lifestyle threatened to consume him. Rice's story is even more complicated. His career ended abruptly in 2014 when TMZ released footage of him assaulting his fiancée in an elevator, a horrific moment that rightfully ended his time in the NFL and forced him to confront his demons. But Rice has spent the years since then working to rebuild his life, to understand the damage he caused, to advocate for domestic violence prevention, and to help others who are struggling. The relationship between McKinney and Rice is unique. They were the odd couple in Baltimore, with the 6'8" McKinney towering 12 inches over the compact running back. McKinney called Rice Shorty Smalls, while Rice called McKinney Slim Slow. Rice once said about McKinney, "Mac is one of the funniest people in the world. He's one of those guys that when you get around him, you're already in. You know what's coming. We just get each other. He's a great football player, but an even better person off the field. This is my guy. I'm telling you, there's not a day I come in that I don't look for Mac first." That bond, that brotherhood, is what they brought to the Vikings on Monday. They reminded these players that football is temporary, that careers end far sooner than anyone expects, that the relationships you build and the person you become matter infinitely more than any touchdown, any sack, any championship ring. They reminded them that it's okay to struggle, okay to ask for help, okay to admit that the weight of this game sometimes feels unbearable. And they reminded them that mental health is just as important as physical health, that you can't perform on the field if your mind is in chaos, and that taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's essential. So as the Vikings prepare for the second quarter of this season, as they get ready to face the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 7, as they navigate the return of Blake Cashman and the quarterback controversy and the hunt for an offensive identity, they'll carry this message with them. They'll remember that this game is bigger than football, that their worth isn't defined by wins and losses, and that asking for help is the bravest thing a man can do. If you believe in this team, if you believe in this message, if you believe that the Vikings are about to go on a run that shocks the world, then you need to do 3 things right now. First, hit that like button and show your support for mental health awareness in the NFL. Second, drop a comment and tell me which of these 5 stories impacted you the most. Was it Cashman's return, Greenard's praise for his teammates, the McCarthy controversy, the report card, or the mental health visit? And third, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell, because the next 72 hours are going to be absolutely insane, and you don't want to miss a single update. The Vikings are 3-2, sitting in the thick of the NFC playoff race, with a defense that's elite and an offense that's searching for answers. Blake Cashman is coming back. J.J. McCarthy's future hangs in the balance. Carson Wentz might be the unexpected hero of this season. Jonathan Greenard and the defense are ready to feast on opposing quarterbacks. And two legends just reminded everyone in that building what really matters. This season is far from over. Viking Nation, in fact, it's only just beginning. The next chapter is about to be written, and if you thought this first quarter was wow, just wait until you see what's coming next. Because if there's one thing we know about the Minnesota Vikings, it's that they never make it easy. They never do it the conventional way, and they always keep us on the edge of our seats. So buckle up, stay locked in, and get ready, because the war for the NFC North is heating up. The Packers are watching nervously, the Lions are trying to hold onto their hype, the Bears are still the Bears, and the Vikings are about to remind everyone why this franchise has the most passionate, loyal, die-hard fan base in all of football. Skol Vikings, let's ride!